Hi guys, we're back with more stories. This one is The Snow Queen, and it is a fairy tale in 7 stories, so there's 7 different parts. The first story is called The Shattered Mirror. A wicked imp made a mirror with the magic power to shrink anything good and beautiful and enlarge everything bad and ugly. Even the nicest people who looked into it became so nasty you wouldn't recognize them. All their nice parts shrank away and their worst ones grew larger. The imp thought this was the best fun ever. The other imps joined in, holding the mirror up to people and cackling at what they saw. Then the imps thought they would fly up to heaven and make fun of the angels. But the higher they flew, the harder it was to keep hold of the mirror. Up and up they went until all at once the mirror shot out of their hands and crashed to earth, shattering into billions of pieces. This caused even more mischief than before because many of the pieces were smaller than a grain of sand and they landed all around the world. Each tiny fragment had the same power as the whole mirror, so when one got into a person's eyes, that person only saw what was bad. If anyone got a little bit in their heart, that was really awful. Their heart became like ice. The wicked imp laughed till his side split. Now to the second story. The second story is called Kay and Gerda. 2 children, a boy named Kay and a girl named Gerda, lived next door to each other and loved each other like brother and sister. They could step out of their bedroom windows into a large roof garden between their houses. There they read together on summer days, smelling beautiful roses. In winter, they played indoors. They would warm pennies by the stove, then press them into the frosted windows, making little peepholes to look out at the falling snow. One winter's evening, Kay melted a hole in the window frost and saw a large snowflake fall. The snowflake grew and grew until Kay saw it. It was a lady dressed in fine gauze made from millions of starry flakes. She was tall and pretty, yet was made of glittering ice. Her eyes were like bright, restless stars. She nodded to Kay, who was frightened and turned away. A few days later, Kay and Gerda were looking at a book on the roof garden when Kay said, "Ouch, something pricked me, and now I've got something in my eye." Gerda put an arm around him and looked closely while he blinked, but couldn't see anything. "I think it's gone," said Kay, but it hadn't. Tiny splinters of glass from the wicked imp's mirror were in poor Kay's eye and heart. "Why are you crying?" he asked Gerda impatiently. "It makes you look ugly." "I'm fine now, there's nothing wrong." When Gerda turned back to their book, Kay said it was babyish. He had changed completely. The next day, Kay shouted to Gerda, "I'm off to sledge at the square with the older boys," and was gone. While the boys were sledding, a big white sleigh drove into the town square. Inside was a person wrapped in a white fur cloak and cap. The boys tied their sleds to get the sleigh to be pulled along, and Kay joined in. Faster and faster they went, the driver turning around and giving Kay a nod, as if they knew each other. Then the other boys tumbled away, and the sleigh sped out through the city gates. Kay tried to untie his sled, but it was knotted, tight and traveling like the wind. Snow fell so fast that he couldn't see. He shouted, but the sleigh went racing on. Then all at once the sleigh stopped and the driver stepped out. It was a lady, tall, straight, and gleaming white. The Snow Queen he'd seen from the window. "Why, you're cold," she said. "Come wrap yourself in my bearskin cloak." She sat Kay beside her in her big white sleigh and put her cloak round him. It felt like sinking into a snowdrift. She kissed him on the forehead. Her kiss was colder than ice. He forgot Gerda and everyone at home. They flew over snowy woods and lakes, over cold seas and lands. Up above the moon shone clear, and Kay watched it all the long winter's night. That's where we'll stop today. We have a couple more stories in this. Well, we'll come back next time.